Here's the problem with releasing Wuthering Heights on Valentine's weekend. Half the audience is going in expecting romance, and the movie is absolutely not interested in giving them that comfort. And that disconnect is basically the entire experience of Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights. There are directors where you already prepare yourself before you go into a theater. You go into a Yorgos Lanthimos movie, you expect strange behavior. David Lynch, dream logic. You just adjust your brain beforehand. And Emerald Fennell is becoming that kind of director. But I don't think people realize it yet. Promising Young Woman looked normal until it was very much wasn't. Saltburn, yeah, you know exactly the scene or scenes I'm talking about. So when she announces Wuthering Heights, some people see romance and sweeping passion. I immediately thought people are about to walk into the wrong movie. Because culturally, we treat Wuthering Heights like a tragic love story. The actual story is closer to emotional suffering disguised as love. Not two people loving each other, but two people defining themselves through each other. And that's the uncomfortable part. Once their identities fuse, separation doesn't create heartbreak, it creates collapse. What's interesting, though, is she actually pulls back, and that surprised me. And if you know the novel, the book is harsher than this adaptation. This is basically an abridged emotional version of it. The core is there, the obsession is there, but she kind of makes it watchable instead of relentless, which ironically makes it more accessible even though the tone is still heavy. So fans of the book may actually find this tame compared to what they imagined. Now visually, the movie is gorgeous. The shot compositions, the production designs, even when nothing pleasant is happening emotionally, the screen keeps you engaged. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes and I never got tired of looking at it because the characters themselves aren't exactly welcoming, and Catherine and Heathcliff are kind of compelling, but they're not likable adults. You understand them, you just don't necessarily want to be around them. And as kids, you feel the connection, but as adults, it becomes identity more than affection. Less romance and more emotional codependency. And if you came in expecting traditional romance, that shift is where the discomfort starts. The marketing was pushing a lot of the chemistry, and yes, Margot, Robbie, and Jacob Elordi absolutely have chemistry. They're believable together, but the chemistry doesn't equal warmth. This is not a movie you leave feeling reassured about relationships. Honestly, taking a date to this on Valentine's is a kind of risky. You might leave questioning past relationships instead of celebrating the current one you're in. That's the mood of this movie. The interesting part for me is the film never tries to soften what the story is. It keeps despair, overdramatic despair. It keeps obsession, melodramatic obsession. It just frames it in more a visual, elegant, and slightly less punishing way than the book. So whether it works for you depends entirely on the expectations. If you want a sweeping romantic catharsis, this may feel cold. But if you want an emotional tragedy, this delivers. Knowing the book and the director's work, I knew what I was going into. Someone in my theater clearly didn't, and they were shaken afterwards. So the movie did its job for at least that person. At the end of the day, I kind of recommend it on a visual standpoint, or if you've gone through a breakup. But if you do sit down and watch it, maybe don't go in blindly. Know the tone before you go in. You may not connect with the characters, but you will watch something interesting. And honestly, that's kind of the point of Wuthering Heights. Oh, I started a new shop. Take a look at my film-inspired merch. And I appreciate you going on this film journey with me. And as always, be real.
Catherine.